So it's spinning and it's spinning, and I think we're live. Hey guys, what's going on, Eurovoxers? So we, of course, we're here chatting. We're doing our daily chat as we've been doing throughout the week. But just before we went on, there was an announcement. So I'm glad that you guys are able to tune in. Before we get to that, let's just say hello to people in the live chat. Hello, Euroboy. Nice to see you again. Hello, Sarah O'Halloran. And hello, Joanne Johnson. Nice to see you guys again. So basically, I'm going to throw it to you, Clara. Tell us about this announcement that just landed.
So the EP just made a statement saying that, unfortunately, due to the current Eurovision rules, the 2020 songs will not be able to compete on the 2021 edition, but that each broadcaster reserves the right to send the artist if they would want to. But the positive news is that on the third paragraph, they say that they're looking for alternative Eurovision programming, which we don't know exactly what that means, but in my opinion, they can't leave 41 artists and 41 really good songs hanging. So maybe this is just speculation, but it's not very far-fetched. Maybe we can see a Eurovision event sometime during this year. What do you guys think?
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts about that. I think that this is at least like it's definitely not going to be great news for some people because like myself included, I feel like I was really attached to some of those songs and I really wanted to see them in their like final form, if you want to call it that. I'm going to go to you, Chris. So for those of you who don't know, Chris is a relatively new member of Eurovoxx, and he's joining us for his first ever live video from Germany. So, Chris, tell us, how do you feel about this new announcement and the fact that it will be new songs for 2021, but they're looking at a way to honor the songs for 2020? What do you think?
I feel that this is a good thing that they try to honor the 2020 songs, but I was kind of expecting this kind of solution because it's the rule. I'm still a bit sad because there were some really good songs. But yeah, we have to deal with it now. And let's hope for a good honor for the 2020 songs.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to you, Jess, in just a moment. I just want to say hello to some people who just joined us. Hello, Fatima. Hello, Oren. Nice to see you again. Hello, Olympic Song Contest. Hello, Roger Pinto. Hello, ESC Matt. Neil Era. Cypher Fox. Ooh. Sometimes this thing's up and down. And then Jenny ESC, nice to see you. TikTok for the win. All right. Okay, so sorry, Jess, tell us what you're thinking about this new announcement.
Yeah, so I'm obviously happy that they're allowing or potentially allowing for this year's artists to come back next year. I think it's nice that they are being given the chance to participate as it was unfairly taken away from them this year. But with regards to not being able to sing their songs, I mean, I understand rules are rules and they have rules in place for a reason and they should be followed. But I was kind of hoping that due to what is going on in the world right now, I was hoping they might be more lenient on the rules and they might kind of say, well, obviously, what's going on in the world is out of our control. It's this huge thing that no one could have ever anticipated. Because of that, we're going to kind of waiver the rules for just 1 year and let each country and each singer have the chance to choose what they want to do. But yeah, so I'm kind of a bit disappointed I won't get to see some songs on the Eurovision stage, but I'm happy that we still get to see a lot of the artists back as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be, however they choose to honor these songs is going to be quite a bit of a factor as far as like how satisfied are we going to be knowing that we don't actually get to see Eurovision this year. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in the chat. Oren is saying, I feel bad for Victoria because she was fighting for her song so much. I agree, and hers was certainly one of the favorites. ESC Matt is saying, why don't they just do it instead of Junior Eurovision in November? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Go ahead, Clara.
Yeah, but there are people that actually really enjoy Junior Eurovision, so it wouldn't be fair for them either. Even if I personally prefer the adult version, but I can understand that it's not fair for that kind of audience.
Mm-hmm. Jenny ESC is saying that she feels bad for Lithuania. Andy Holloway is asking, can't we just have Eurovision on TV with the music videos and then vote at the end when there's a winner? Chris, how would you feel about that? About a Eurovision that was just based off of the produced studio versions and a music video? Chris?
Oh, sorry, I didn't get it. Actually, I feel right. I think it's a quite good idea, but it depends also. Like, it's maybe not so fair for some countries who have not that big, like, the money for it, like Moldova, for example. But for me, it would be definitely better to do that than to do nothing. But yeah, I have this budget point in my head.
Mhm.
Jess, how do you feel about that proposal?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Chris there, in that I think it would be a nice way to still have the contest go forward without there being the actual live show itself. But then on the other hand, the music videos are obviously going to vary from country to country. And what one country can produce, another maybe can't do that, which would lead to an unfair contest. So I think because of that, I would say then it's best just not to have it, so we can have like a proper fair contest next year instead.
I'm not sure for whom this applies, but when I hear Jess speaking, there's quite a bit of feedback.
Do you want me to try plugging in my earphones?
Maybe, yeah, that might help. Emo's asking where Andy is tonight. Andy's taking a break. He, unlike some of us who have been, kind of not working or not studying at the moment, Andy is still working. He's mostly working from home, and he just wanted a little bit of a break. But he's not gone. He doesn't have coronavirus. Everything's fine. He just wanted a little bit of break, a little bit of a break. 16,16 is saying that she's honestly disappointed.
But we have a great playlist on Spotify now. I listen to it every day. I do all of my paintings and my house chores and like my cooking. I do it with the playlist, and it's like it's really a bit, and it really sets me in the right mood. And guys, it's spring. It's the first day of spring, and that makes me super happy. And I was doing pancakes this afternoon, listening to Fekkelebir, and it's like the best feeling ever. Fekkelebir. And like, shaking your frying pan. I have flashed on my own. I'm probably the only one enjoying this social isolation.
Well, but I think it's a good point to make, because as much as these songs are selected with the purpose of representing their country at Eurovision, we do have to remember that at the end of the day, it's music like any other kind of music, and and the way that we choose to enjoy it is really up to us. So I like that attitude, and I hope that more people listen to what you have to say, Clara. Luches YouTube is saying, hello, I'm really happy that there will be an ESC event this year, but I disagree with the fact that the artist can't compete with this year's song next year, as it's really unfair. Yeah, I think the fairness is a question, because I'm sure that you can make the argument that, maybe if you've had the song out earlier, then you've had more of an opportunity to promote it, and especially because we're going to be talking about well over a year if it were these songs to be kept by the competition for next year. But then I also see an argument against that, saying that, well, then those songs aren't as fresh and exciting, because that's if you're able to capitalize on that moment of when your song gets released and it goes viral, kind of like the Russian song did, which was the absolute last one to come out, then that could be just as effective, and sometimes even more effective. Jess, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from, that, in a year's time, these songs are going to be kind of old news to some people. But at the same time, these artists and their whole team and delegations have worked really hard on kind of preparing these songs and like a staging for this performance. And it would be a shame for it to go to waste as such. But then again, I guess for all these artists, they have another song to add to their back catalogue. So it's another song for their album, for their EP. So I guess it's kind of a win-win situation in the end.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to be taken away from it, because especially if you've had if you've been so fortunate to be selected to go to Eurovision, then you already have a lot of publicity that's available to you and to your music. So there is always something beneficial to that. It's more so the the actual competitive aspect of it that you might miss out on. Chris, your thoughts on the fairness of this decision?
I agree kind of with Jess. I think it's definitely takes away this freshness for next year. But yeah, I think it's for some people it's also good. For some participants, maybe when they see that their songs are not that well appreciated, also to take a better song out there next year if they are selected again. But I think, yeah, it's of course it's sad for some songs, but I think it's okay.
Marky Mark is saying that Switzerland's song was so beautiful, such a shame that we won't see this presented live. Yeah, and I mean, the Swiss song, among a number of other songs that seem to be in the group of the favorites. This is the thing. It's with this decision, it's not going to be. I mean, there's going to be disappointment with it, and I'm sure that there'd be certain people that would argue for something. Sorry, Clara, you have something to say.
Do you know what would be a great idea? The next year's interval act have the songs of 2020.
Yes.
A little medley.
Yeah, that's cool.
The question would be, which artist would have the versatility to perform all those different songs?
No, have them all and like do a mashup and like have them popping out every now and then, like divide them between the two semis and the final. I'm quite sure you can fit a medley of 41 songs between those three shows.
Let's say hi to Tvan. Hello, Tvan,
Hey.
one of our eurovoxx writers, and appears in our videos as well. Mark is saying that I do the same, Clara. Walk around the park with my ESC 2020 playlist. Yeah, I mean, I know personally there's going to be lots of songs that I continue to listen to. I need to make some more additions to my library now that I know that we're not going to be hearing them later on at the contest. ESC Matt is asking, what will happen to Melfest? I really hope the Mamas didn't win it for nothing. So we do already know about that. The Mamas, unfortunately, will not be able to compete next year, which I'm definitely quite heartbroken about that. Yeah, it's going to be a new Melfest next year and a new winner. So that's just how it is. Paolo's joining us as well. He's not surprised. On the bright side, we get another set of songs to play to death on our playlists. Yeah, as if that wouldn't have happened either way. So I like the fact that people are seeing the positivity in it all. Neil Era is saying they will give some competing artists an advantage. Not fair. Some artists 2021 would be 2020. Others don't. Yeah, and I always feel like if the decision was left up to the artist, then they can really kind of, I don't know, then the ball's in their court, because then they can decide, am I going to take a risk by bringing something that nobody else knows and have it unfairly compared to the song that I did? Or am I going to stick to my guns and risk the possibility of people falling out of love with that now that it's over a year old? VLV97 Karen says, "K Mama is a song for me today." I like that. I like the idea of looking into the meanings of the songs and taking them on, because if life brings you down, then you get back up and you give it a smile, that kind of thing. Guys, what songs, Jess, I'll start with you. Tell me what songs from this year you're going to continue to listen to keep yourself positive.
Oh, I have so many. So obviously I will still listen to my favorite one, which is France. I'm loving Malta, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Russia, Serbia, Sweden, France, Moldova, Iceland, Israel, Ireland, Denmark, and the UK. Reading it off my phone, because I've now added them all onto my phone, and I have been listening to them.
Did we get them all? Was that all 41 of them in there?
No, it's only about.
But this is true. This is why this Eurovision was going to be so cool because there were very few songs we did not like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel the same way. Chris, for you, what are the songs that you're going to be listening to keep yourself positive?
Definitely, my heart is broken because of the Mamas.
Mm.
That was one of my favorites, and it's very sad that this song is not going to Eurovision. I'm also heartbroken for my country, Germany, because finally we brought a very good song, and now it's not going to go there. And I have to say Malta also, or the Netherlands was one of my favorites. And I have to say, yeah, UK also.
Yeah, I mean, of course they are going to be missing out on the opportunity to bring those songs. We might hear that some of those artists that you mentioned will be selected to go next year with something new. So it still won't be as bad as not being able to go. All in all, let's say hello to the main man, Andy. So he's in the live chat. If you want to talk to him, then we will bring him in as much as we can.
Actually, today, because like now that the streets are empty, I was going shopping and I was crossing the how do you call it, the pedestrian walk with like my headphones blasting the UK song, and I was like, we were deep sea divers, and I was like walking around.
Awesome.
Yeah, it felt really good.
Yeah, I think for me, I know that I can turn on something like Move to feel really happy and uplifted. Czech Republic as well. Australia is that song that takes me into kind of like a deep introspective moment that I really like. And there's lots to choose for this year. Ukraine is still the song that I want to break down doors and shout into rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Neil Era is saying the German songs from 2012 and 2018 were better than 2020. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was everybody's cup of tea, but I mean, we've seen good songs come from Germany. It doesn't happen all the time. Chris, what are your thoughts on your country's contributions to ESC overall?
You mean like from the last years also?
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah. Okay. I'm mostly not a fan of our song, but I have to say I agree kind of with this comment with 2012 and 2018. These were also my favorite songs. But I have to say 2020 is my favorite song ever from Germany.
Can you remind me which songs are you talking about?
Because I'm standing still.
Ah, okay.
Standing still.
Yes, and Michael Schulte.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one that made an impact on me because 2018 was the first show that I watched, and I mean I of course didn't really know that it was an expected thing to have LEDs every year. So that happened to be the year where they decided to not do that, and his act was really the only one that had kind of done something like that anyway. I think was it like an inflatable projection screen that they used? Do you guys know what it was?
I think it was that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was very impressive. A great song too. Very heartfelt. Nice to see you again, Francesco. And he's giving great advice to us all. Wash your hands, especially if you are like me and feel the need to touch your face all the time. So wash your hands. Soap. Do it for at least 20 seconds. Sing happy birthday twice. Do it for your lover. Sing that as much as you like.
And also, there are a lot of Eurovision songs that you can wash your hands to, so you can wash and sing at the same time.
Ooh.
Okay, so let's throw the question around. Jess, what's your go-to Eurovision song to make sure that you're washing your hands thoroughly enough?
Well, normally it would probably be "You Are the Only One" by Sergei Lazarev.
Okay. Choice, Clara?
That's an odd question I've never had to face before. But well, considering I've never washed my hands till now, I'm joking.
Oh wow! I'm just gonna keep away from you.
Wouldn't it be cool if like my hands now came onto your screen?
Wait, it'd be that way. All right, so you have to think about that one.
Yeah.
Chris, what's a song that you're going to be singing to wash your hands so that you're doing it thoroughly enough?
Well, there's only one song I use for every situation, and that is Eleni Forera's Fuego. So I will use
Good
that
choice.
one.
I think for me, it would probably be Spirit of the Night, because the key changes just go on forever and ever. And by that point, you will have washed your hands for like 3 minutes straight. So.
Probably this, if we're considering this Eurovision calendar, it will be Jess by the Danish song Ben and Tan. Yes.
Ah, yes.
I thought you were saying Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess, I'm gonna wash my hands on you.
Sarah O'Halloran's hand washing song would be Supergirl. Not surprised, we know that you're a big fan of that. Jake Mason is saying that today he washed his hands to Samantha Tina's Still Breathing.
Oh yeah,
really aggressive. Yeah, I mean, lots of good things to take away from that song.
She was a visionary.
Exactly. She saw this happening before any of us. And she wrote that song without Eurovision in mind. So, you know, we really need to pay lots of attention to Samantha Tina.
But another random tip for you all as well is that dentists say you're supposed to brush your teeth for a minimum of 3 minutes. Most Eurovision songs are 3 minutes. So when you're brushing your teeth, listen to a Eurovision song. Tried and tested by me.
Eurovision is going to save lives.
Exactly. Saves your hands and it saves your teeth.
I mean, it actually really produced Greta Thunberg.
That's true. That's true. I mean, maybe not directly, but her mom was.
Indirectly.
Indirectly, there are people making a difference who are associated with Eurovision.
Great way to put it.
Yeah, exactly. Joanne Johnson is saying, how about, I'm assuming you're saying the group for washing hands?
But the hands are here, unless you're washing your hair at the same time. It's kind of difficult.
Maybe if you're kind of leaning backwards and doing the movement like that.
That will be hard time.
Jess, how did you learn how to properly wash your hands?
Well, so the story goes is that a few weeks ago, I went round to Andy's house, but before he would let me properly come into his house, I had to wash my hands. So I was stood in his bathroom, and he was stood there, and he was telling me exactly how to wash them, exactly what to do. And then once he was satisfied with that, he let me into his house. So thanks to Andy, I have lovely hands now.
Being very, very cautious, as we should be. Jake Mason is saying, you can't brush your teeth to James Newman, My Last Breath. It's far too short way too far short of 3 minutes.
Maybe you could just hold the breath on a little bit longer then.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah, like a conductor does when he's kind of trying to make tension. He kind of stops everything and then he goes boom, and then the music resumes. Marky Mark is saying, could you let me know which was each of your favorite national selection song? Oh, that didn't win in 2020. So I don't know if we'll all have answers for this because I don't think we all were following the national selections. I followed many of them. I know that Jess did a few of them as well.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I could probably guess her answer, but I'll let you go first, Jess.
Go ahead, bring it on.
Okay, so I would probably say it was Ryan Alexander, One Last Time.
Close, but not quite there.
Okay.
But it is one of my favorites. But my ultimate favorite national final song, not just of 2020, but of all time, is Anna Bergendaal's Melfest song, Kingdom Come.
Oh, that's a surprise. I wouldn't have thought that it was that one. Should have had you in our Melfest video.
I absolutely love that song so much.
Chris, how many national selections did you follow, and did you have any favorites that weren't selected?
Yes, I followed quite many of them, actually, like Albania, for example, which is my biggest crime this year. I was rooting so much for Elvana to go. But I was also team Eurovoxx in Estonia. And yeah, those were my two biggest crimes. And Daughter was also, but I loved Mamas also, so it was the same.
I know there are still lots of broken hearts about Eurovoxx. So Clara, I mean, at least I know that you were following Esti Lau.
I'm a winner, so all of my winner songs won.
lucky you.
Was there any
You must.
non-Estonian song that you came across that you liked and didn't get selected?
No, as I said, all of my winners won.
Okay, fair enough. Man,
I'm sorry.
it's hard to choose one for me because I had to follow many many national selections. I think if just going off the top of my head, Elodie from Sanremo, whose song was written by
yes.
both Mahmoud and Dardust, who is the composer that worked with Mahmoud for Soldi. And he also did Rancore's song for this year as well, Eden. But yeah, so Elodie Andromeda, that was like a spectacular song. I love house music. I love house music that's done well. And Dardust has just got a really great way with his compositions. Hello, Marta V. Nice to see
Hey.
you. Saying it's a shame that they can't have the same songs. Yeah, it seems that it's not a decision that everybody's going to like, but try to look for the positives. We're going to have a new round of songs next year, and we don't have to worry about the momentum dying for any songs. Euroboy 4, his favorite was Denmark's Human. You liked that one too, Jess, didn't you?
I did, yeah. That was my second favourite from Danish Melody Grand Prix.
Mine too. That was my second favorite as well. Neil Era saying Rain was so robbed he would have won televoting in Norway.
Totally agree with you.
Not my thing, but I see why people like it. I mean, he did a great job. That much I can say. Even as much as it isn't my thing, I still respect the kind of performance that he did. Jake Mason is saying Alvana. Still, it doesn't matter that it's been like 4 months now, but still people are.
But that is a proof of how good quality it was, and that it's going to be in everyone's mind or playlist from now on.
True. Just because they don't get selected doesn't mean that you can't listen to it. Rodrigo Pinto is saying that he has so many. One of the weirdest ones would have to be Bohem in Albania. Does anybody remember that one?
Nope.
I'm pretty sure that one, it didn't end up going to the final, but I did like the, I mean, because it's called Bohem, I assume that's supposed to be some kind of translation of Bohemian, maybe? And it kind of had that, I don't know, that classic feel to it. Something, if you were, walking down the streets of Albania and you came across like a music festival, then it would be something like that, seeing that performed live. Andy Holloway is saying, do you think Little Big would have won Eurovision if it hadn't got cancelled?
No.
Jess, what do you think?
I think they could have been potential televote winners, but not overall winners.
I agree 100%.
Chris, you agree
me too?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. I think that it would have been hard to sell that to juries. But if it was like, if they won the televote by a landslide, then maybe. And I think that would have been the only possible scenario, but I still think that the juries would have probably had a hard time giving points to that one. Euroboy 4 is saying Uku was the best in Estonia. So if you haven't heard, Uku, although he won't be going automatically to Rotterdam, assuming it's in Rotterdam next year, he will be given a spot in the semifinals for Esti Lau. He just has to win again, and he seemed to do so pretty easily this year, so he might be able to do it again next year.
But then an interesting question, though, that I just thought of is that for the countries that have said their artists can automatically go to Eurovision, like with Uku in Estonia, with the Mamas in Sweden, if they were to participate in their national finals again, do you think countries would maybe vote for them just out of pity to give them a chance? Maybe.
What do you think, Clara?
Countries or like the viewers?
So like the people watching Esti Lau next year, for example, do you think they might think, oh, well, Uku never got to go last year?
I honestly I don't think television audience has that sort of empathy, to be honest. So no, I don't think so. I think no. Yeah, I don't see it happening. Out of pity, no, they would have to send a very solid song and sell a very solid performance.
For me, I'm kind of like, I think it would really depend on the national selection and how it's run. Like when I'm thinking of Esti Lau, I think that because of the way that it's structured, the fact that they have 2 rounds of it where you have to have the highest average score between televote and juries, and then you go to the super final, and then it's 100% televote. I think that that could be a factor that helps certain people along, but I think it really depends on the country, the attitude, the general attitude that people have about the artist. So I think that there's lots to consider when it comes to that. Chris, your thoughts on certain artists getting pity votes for not going this year?
I think that could happen, but I think these 2 countries, what we mentioned, Estonia and Sweden, are very good in selecting good songs. And I see also that in Sweden, for example, like we have seen sometimes that the televoting winner was not the winner in the end, like with Robin Bengtsson or something. And I think the juries have too much impact that this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that it could be the juries that have that are thinking about that possibility of being more sympathetic toward somebody who had that chance taken away from them?
No, not that, but if the song is not good enough and the people still vote for them very much so that they can go through, the juries still concentrate on the songs, and if the song is not good, they don't go.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what they should do, because if the song isn't good, then it shouldn't go. Kalkreiniger is saying...
Kalkreiniger.
Say it again. Kalkreiniger?
Kalkreiniger.
Okay, thank you. So he's saying Erica Vickman was robbed. Lots of people still upset about that one. What else? I'm really sorry, guys, because sometimes this thing kind of locks up on me, so I'm trying to follow along. It sounds like Andy's talking about Farumore or Andromeda. So Rodrigo is saying, I'm trying to figure out what you guys, the kind of separate conversation that you guys are having. I was so sad when I found out that Andromeda had no chance at winning, but as usual, Italy chose something with such class. Yeah, I think a lot of people, for the most part, were pretty happy with Diodato and Farumore. I know, Clara, that's one of your favorites.
Yeah.
Marky Mark is saying it will be a shame for Montaigne in Australia if Dami Im goes through with her pledge to compete in 2021. Yeah, I agree. And I also think they might have a hard time finding people who want to commit or want to compete against Dami Im.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it would also be great to have her back, right? Jess, were you a fan of Dami Im?
I mean, I was a fan of her, but not so much a fan of her song. So I'd happily welcome her back to the contest, but it would be interesting to see something totally different from her.
Mm-hmm. Mark W is saying, do you think we'll see a return of Bosnia or Hungary or even Slovakia next year, possibly making the biggest number of participants ever? What do you think, Chris? What do you think about returning countries for next year?
I would love to see Hungary returning, definitely. But I don't know how the situation there is, but I don't think that Bosnia or Slovakia will return, honestly. But I would love to see Hungary or Montenegro to come back.
Mm-hmm. Clara, what are your thoughts?
I think if there should be a year for countries to come back, it should be next year, because there's going to be such a hunger for Eurovision, because we're starving this year.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want to make a comeback next year, it would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, before all this happened, there was talk of the broadcaster from Andorra looking at their options to return for this year. So unless they find out that it's not financially feasible, I think that they would be the ones most likely to return, maybe apart from Montenegro, who kind of implied that they were just taking a break for this year because of finances, directing their finances elsewhere. But I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen Andorra, and they also haven't ever qualified for the final, have they?
No, they have not.
And then that would mean we'd be hearing some Catalan possibly at Eurovision if they choose to. Luchess YouTube is asking, or YT is asking, why did Hungary decide not to participate this year? Well, I mean, I know that there's some discussion about that, but basically the official reason that they said was that they wanted to give the winner of Egdal the local exposure, help them, support them financially, give them opportunities to perform at festivals and that kind of thing. So that's the reason that they've given. I mean, they haven't said that they're going to be sitting out Eurovision all in all. That's just that's how things are right now. Let's say hello to Jay Santos.
Hey!
Santos. Hello, guys. Serbian song made Andy move his butt in front of the camera in his reaction. So Hurricane's job is done. They don't need Eurovision anyway. Do respond to your contribution to our live chat. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to wait a long time before we see some more of Andy's dance moves.
Yeah.
Unless he gets to react to some of those old songs. Who else here has some pretty good dance moves that we haven't seen yet? Are you a dancer, Jess?
Well, so I mean, I can't really dance, and I'm not a very good dancer. But when I've had, some alcohol, the dance moves, however bad they may be, they come out and they don't ever go away till I'm sober. So I guess you could say I'm a drunk dancer. I only dance when I'm drunk.
Okay.
As Clara can confirm.
And what? What was the last thing you said?
Clara can confirm this.
I can confirm it. Oh, yes, definitely.
Right. And Clara, your dance moves?
I can't follow a choreography, but I'm good at moving.
Okay. You got rhythm at least.
Yes.
Chris, are you the dancing kind? No?
I also need, I agree totally with Jess.
How about you, Stuart?
Oh, I'm not like a practice dancer or anything, but I definitely have rhythm. I like to be very expressive. Actually, I went to I like to I'll keep this really quick, but I went to an event like a year ago that was called Ecstatic Movement, which is all about like just kind of being in your own space and moving in the way that your intuition tells you. And you're not allowed to talk to anyone. You just go in there, you listen to the music from start to finish, and you just kind of do your own thing. And it was quite fun.
Okay.
That does sound cool.
You should look up Ecstatic Dance if you have it in your region. And he's saying that he would be happy for all the artists to come back, but he would like Demi Im back next year for Australia. She has class.
I agree.
She's certainly like an artist that the Australians are really proud of. I wonder like who's going to want to compete against her, considering that she's had the best ever result at Eurovision. I mean, it doesn't mean it isn't to say that she would have the same result this time around, but yeah, it's a big question. Jake Mason is saying dance moves getting sober. Someone needs to do a remix of Bulgaria's song, something that's danceable, and we can marry those two thoughts together. So, guys, we are here talking about the news, but also we're trying to commit to our promise to you to be on once every night to just kind of keep you guys company. I know that these are difficult times. Eurovision aside, it's difficult times for everyone. A lot of people are at home without much certainty about what the future is going to look like. So hopefully you enjoy chatting with us a little bit. Guys, how have we been keeping ourselves busy? Clara, I know that you've always got your art, so there's lots for you to do.
Do you want me to follow on that? Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, so for me, today, I actually didn't do art, but I managed all of my emails. I had to do some cancellations of airplanes. And then I actually like cooking a lot. So I've been cooking and listening to music. And yeah, I don't know. I just keep busy. And the only thing that has changed is that it's my airplanes and my events, but they're just being postponed. So what I do is I also read a lot about this virus, and I look for the positive news. And experts are saying that now that summer is arriving, the virus is thriving cold. So now that the spring is arriving and summer is about, it will come soon, the virus will stop. It won't be so contagious. So there's hope, and this is going to last a month more. And I'm actually in Estonia, and we are not in that crazy cases or like crazy lockdowns, but my whole family and all of my high school friends or my childhood friends are. So I'm kind of following their timeline because they are way ahead in that process. So like my mind is also like ahead than the situation here. So I know in a month it's gonna be fine.
Well, I mean, it is also important to remember to listen to what the healthcare providers are saying, and that the governments are following their advice. So, I hope that you're right. I hope that we do see some sort of suppression of this in the next little while.
Yeah.
Especially because the weather's getting nicer, and we're gonna want to go outside and sit on the patios and.
But yesterday there were no new cases in Wuhan, and that's a victory. And
Yes.
then also I read a report that said that some schools in Italy would want to open on the 15th of April, and that is a date we can wrap our minds around.
Certainly, because it's it's less than a month away. But yeah, Chris, how have you been keeping yourself busy in these times?
I just came back from my year abroad, so I have to organize some stuff, and I'm listening to music and have some flight cancellations also that I have to deal with now.
Jess, how about you?
So I've actually still been working as normal, which has been keeping me busy in the day, and then obviously these videos keep me busy in the evening. But at the end of tomorrow, the shop that I work in is going to be closed to the public. So I've been informed that I can still go in and work, and I can kind of work in our little sorting room and get things done. So I guess for the time being, I will still be occupying myself with work to a certain extent, and then obviously with Eurovoxx and Eurovision for the rest of the time.
Mark W, maybe this is a question that you can answer, Jess. He's asking, is this the weekend that the clocks go forward?
No, Google says we go forward on the 29th, which is next weekend.
Right.
So if Google's correct, then that's when it is.
But Stuart, how are you keeping busy?
How am I keeping busy? Good question. I've got lots of kind of housekeeping things to do, which is not like literal housekeeping, but more like catching up on the things that kind of get left behind when, excuse me, when lots of things are happening. Sorry, I hope I didn't like break your ears when I did that. But yeah, so I'm doing some catch up. I'm helping. My brother is moving. I'm not going to be helping him right away because obviously that's not social distancing. But when I can, I'll be helping him with that. And yeah, I'm trying to find other music that keeps me interested. Things that are kind of Eurovision-esque, but not directly associated with Eurovision, because I like to think about the possibilities and ways that the contest can expand. And also, like, I like listening to music in general, regardless of how it, whether or not it will ever be in Eurovision and that kind of thing. Dennis is saying an interesting thing. He's saying that he thinks Bulgaria will withdraw as a result of this. I mean, they did just come back, and we know that Bulgaria always puts in a lot of effort to succeed, and often that it often shows that they do so. Jess, do you see the possibility of Bulgaria pulling out?
I mean, I know that Bulgaria, with regards to Eurovision, quite often struggles with finances and being able to afford to participate. But I think that if Bulgaria have a sponsor again, like they did this year, and they have someone that can help them out, then I think for sure they'll be back next year. Because I mean, I think by them coming back this year, it shows that they really want to be a part of Eurovision. So I think they'll do everything they can to make it happen.
Clara, how do you feel?
I think it's a worrying concern. I understand where he's coming from, because if Bulgaria withdraw to be able to be back, and now this happens, plus all of the effort that they put in, and like the composer is a very known Eurovision composer. I think Stefan Samson's team was behind it, and I think it was Boris Mikhailov. I don't know, Boris Mikhailov, and all of this Eurosonic, or I don't remember the name of the studio, but like the company, but huh?
Symphonics, right?
Yes, Symphonics. It would be a shame to not honor that effort and withdraw the following year.
I mean, I think that at some point they have to see this pay off, and they should actually win it, which, I mean, usually they say that that's how you end up spending more money, and from, as they said in not Love Love Peace Peace, the other one where they're like, they bankrupted the host nation.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see their efforts pay off, because the work shows. I have to pull up this thing that Jay Santos is saying. Eurovoxx can do a lot during this time. Clara can paint a portrait of Andy dancing, Stuart smiling, Chris thinking, and in the end, Jess will be the art critic saying, well, in my personal opinion. It's not quite what she says. What do you say, Jess?
No, I do say that, do I not?
But like,
you don't say it exactly like that.
what's
Sometimes
the
I would say,
catchphrase?
in my honest opinion, for me personally,
That's the one.
for me personally, Jay Santos, I love your comment.
Dennis is kind of providing us with some more information on this. He's saying because their sponsorship has ended, they were, of course, the ones first in the odds, and now they can't keep the song. They might just leave.
That's a very pessimistic comment. Come on, keep your mind up.
Yes, anything's possible. It's possible they might withdraw, but it's possible they might come back with another banger. So, fingers crossed.
Quickly, guys,
I think they will come back and get their first spot.
I think so too. I think that once wouldn't be enough. I feel like they'll still be hungry enough to do it, and I just hope that they're able to do it financially. Since we're all talking about it, I know that some of us do top lists and others, it's a bit of a struggle, but our thoughts are on Bulgaria. Was it a song that you liked? Where did it land on your list? Clara, how did you feel about it?
Sorry, I wasn't listening to the question.
Bulgaria's song, Tears Getting Sober.
Oh, I actually love it. It took me a while to get into it, because my first thought was like, oh, this is so depressing. But I'm like, at the end, the orchestra comes up, and I was like, this is kind of like Amar per los Dois, but like all Eurovision. But then I saw the elegance of it all, and it really won me over. And now I listen to it every day.
Chris?
Actually, I'm not that kind of fan of this very slow song, but this song got me with the first listen even. It was not my winner, but definitely in my top 10, and I think on live on the stage it would have looked amazing.
Yes.
Bulgaria's song wasn't my favorite song. I wasn't that keen on it. I can totally see how and why it was one of the big favorites. It was very beautiful and very pleasant to listen to, but it just didn't really appeal to me.
For me, I think it was a great song. Again, not my all-time favorite, but one that I was really looking forward to. I was really looking forward to seeing it. I'm getting all tongue-tied. It's too much talking for me. But yeah, definitely. If I had a top 10, it would be somewhere in there, because it was just a really quality song. And yeah, so Andy's calling it a night, and I think that's probably a signal for the rest of us too. I'm sure that you guys are close to calling it a night as well. For me, it's still afternoon, so I might try and get outside while the weather's nice. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna keep our ear to the ground about keep our ears to the ground about the news that's coming out. I know that it doesn't seem like there's much to look forward to since Eurovision is canceled for this year. However, there will be developments, and we'll do our best to bring them to you as best as we can. So firstly, thank you, Chris, for joining us for the first time. I hope you enjoyed chatting with us. Jess and Clara, thank you so much. as always. Thank you, Andy, and thank you to the rest of you. So keep watching us here, and we will talk to you again later. Bye, guys.
Bye. Mwah.
Bye.